Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, evening for some people. I apologize. Facebook is giving me a broadcasting error that they have to fix on their side. I'm just setting up my YouTube channel for Breakthrough Astrology, and I will be allowed to go live in 24 hours on that YouTube channel. So we're just going to kind of work with what we got right now. So today's meeting, and I apologize, this isn't live, but this was my last option, recording it and then just downloading it to YouTube so you guys have something for today, as I promised. So today we were looking at fate versus emotional intelligence, and boy, I was going to go a little bit longer today. It is Venus Day. So, in astrology, we hear a lot of times that we're fated. This was fated. This was our fate, if you will. And, I don't think that's completely correct. Yeah, we were fated into being born in a certain family, and our parents were who they were when they raised us up. So that was fate, most certainly. But we don't have to live a fated life as we become very conscious and self-aware. And when this happens, I like to use the terminology emotional intelligence, but it's the same as self-mastery, and it's the same as personal success. These terms can be used interchangeably. This is about really becoming self-aware of what makes you tick and what makes, why you feel the way you feel, why you react the way you react. Why do sometimes it just seems like you overreact, or the same things happen again and again and you're just frustrated and you're tired of it. Now, I know that I put out a blog this week, and it really had to do with our root chakra, and we were talking about the reptilian brain, where we were born in the family that we were born into. And again, yep, this was fated. And so if our parents were not emotionally intelligent and they were just kind of everywhere in their emotions and feelings and really not there for themselves, they certainly were not going to be there for us. So we're going to have that sense of not feeling safe in this world. Really, that's what the root chakra comes down to. Is your world easy? Does everything just kind of flow and it's at ease, or does it seem like a fight, a struggle? You're always worried about one thing or another, just for your very survival. Are you going to pay rent? So that's really what our base or root chakra is all about. Now let's move up one chakra to our Jupiter chakra, our sacral chakra. This has so much to do with how we were taught, or what we were going to be taught to fear in this world. So everybody has a different sense of feeling not safe, or things that make them feel not safe, or things that do make them feel safe. But when we're looking at our Jupiter, it's how did our parents teach us not to be safe? Where is that fear coming from? What beliefs did they install in us? Jupiter is exalted in Pushya. It's exalted in the sign of Cancer for a reason, because we get our higher learning, our life knowledge, universal knowledge from our parents between the ages about 3 through 13. So it was those years, whatever we may have been taught will be what we have been living most of our life, if we were not conscious or conscientious about our emotions and why we're feeling this way, or why we are reacting this way. Kind of a little bit of that monkey mind that I was mentioning last week and in my blog post on Monday. So here's where we can really make a difference in our life. If we can get a hold of our emotions when we are in a good mood, when it's a good time, when we are relaxed, that just that one day that, okay, you know, it's all good, life is good, I'm happy. This is a perfect time to go and tap into some of those belief systems that was installed in us when we were children. And the reason why you want to do it when you're in a good mood is because you can logically and analyze that emotion, that belief, and that thought. Because I tell you what, when we're emotional and we're in our monkey mind, we're on autopilot. Logic has checked out and emotions are running the board. So we always want to make sure that when we're doing this, that we're in a really good state and that we're not letting our monkey mind run the show. And let me grab just a few things here, my notes, so I don't forget anything as I'm telling you guys this. So our sacral chakra now, it really does, when our sacral chakra is balanced, when our Jupiter is running really well in our charts, wherever it may be, we are going to have really good relationships with others and ourselves. So if we have a troubled Jupiter, this is where the feelings of fear, depression, manic or emotional instability, feeling overwhelmed, loss of imagination or creativity, sexual dysfunction, reproductive issues, and even addictions come from this place. And studying these chakras and you know, putting them together with the planets in our charts brought in a whole new level for me on why it's so important to start with the root chakra, or the biggest, heaviest planet, and moving our way toward the sun and the moon. Because without us really balancing out and cleaning out that very root or the bottom chakras, then it's impossible. It will absolutely be impossible for us to correct our manifestation or what we're doing in our life every day currently. We have to dig way to the bottom, you guys. Get all the way down there into that swamp, because this is where a lot of our false beliefs and our manifestations are coming from, and we don't even realize it. It's between those ages of 3 and 13. So, sorry about that. I kind of did a little pause there. Okay, so when we're using our words to define or express our emotions, one of the things that we don't want to do is start correcting our words right away. We need to embrace those words. What words are we using? Why are we using those words? So during this phase, no word is a negative word. It is every word that comes out. How we express our soul is through our words. So if we say something like, oh, why, you know, am I so stupid? And, oh, I hate myself for doing that. This is a really good indication of not to like, oh, I shouldn't say that. No, why did you say that? That's the very key that like, okay, wait a minute, let me examine. That means going down into the swamp. And I'll be writing a blog post about this and posting it for you guys on Monday, I promise you. So we don't want anybody else to correct our language either. Let us use the language, all right, because that's the expression of our soul. We're allowed to use any language, any words that we want, And that gives us such a good indicator, especially when we're becoming self-aware of what maybe we need to go down into the swamp and clean out. And just, I'm going to let you give a little example, and I'll use my own life for this. And I didn't even realize it, not until probably about 6-7 months ago, as I was really studying the chakras and going into the planet, my personal chart, my planets, and how they linked up to my chakras. But I've always had a really, really big problem of speaking my truth, speaking up for myself. And I've always let myself get ran over, all that typical. Obviously, the child was abused or didn't come from a very healthy family when they were younger, very typical. And what I noticed in my own chart was Jupiter was not only 12th from itself, but it was placed 12th from the house it ruled. Okay, which is loss, of course. But Jupiter was in Anuradha, the sign of Scorpio. And it was placed in my third house of courage. And why is the third house considered the house of courage? Because the third house is where we have to have a lot of courage, because we're going to go in for a battle or a fight. You see a lot of athletes come from the third house, right? It's all about speaking up. Attorneys are really, we'll find, like especially Mars in the third house, placed in the third house, because we're able to fight and battle and stick up for our house, for ourselves. This is courage. Well, Scorpio needs to learn to be courageous. That's not a sign that I would consider one of the most courageous signs in the house, and a lot of things that we don't want to face. And one of those, of course, is our fear, comes from the sign of Scorpio. So my Jupiter expands everything, right? So it only served to perpetuate and explode that fear. And it gave me the events that caused that fear in my life. And just remember, it's not like when we're reading charts, it's not like, oh, my Jupiter is here. No, what did Jupiter do? What kind of events happened that would have caused this much fear? And mine did come from my childhood. And of course, my Jupiter is being, aspected by Saturn, which just gave it even more of an influence. But what is really, really cool, you guys, about this is that instead of living my whole life, and I wish I would have came up with or learned this a lot sooner, but instead of being that victim and living in that fear, my whole life, I have really learned to embrace my Jupiter, dig deep, real deep for the truth. What is the third house? Third house is the house of communication. Third house is about courage, speaking your truth. Mercury is the natural ruler of it. Scorpio is all about digging, especially Anuradha, digging deep, right, for the truth. And Jupiter is all about our wisdom, our higher wisdom, not what we learn in school, not math, right? It's about life knowledge, life wisdom. So I had to take my Jupiter and I had to dig deep. Hence why I'm doing astrology. And so I am pulling now that house completely around into something that's so beneficial. And I'm able to spread everything that I'm learning. I'm sharing with you guys. Everything that I'm learning, I'm going to be teaching everybody else. I'm not keeping anything to myself, right? Everybody needs to know this knowledge. So that's kind of how you want to look at your chart, or each person's chart. Now, moving on away from the planetary alignments, because I do have some people here that don't know astrology, but they're here also to really learn how they can improve their personal life. So now I apologize. My goodness gracious. I'm just going into my notes here. Okay, so I don't think I have it open, but that's okay. We'll just keep on going. So anyways, back into our sacral chakra. So when we start cleaning out this area in our life and really start looking at what has happened to us and what events happened to us, what we were taught from the ages of 3 to 13, we're going to find so many of our roadblocks. As we are going through life and we're setting goals for ourselves and setting our purpose in life, roadblocks, what seems to be roadblocks are going to pop up in our life and on that road. And we have some choices here. People don't even realize this is what's happening. One, if there's a roadblock, and we'll consider a roadblock of fear. Okay, so we're going to Las Vegas to go gambling because that's our purpose, right? This is what we want to do. We're setting off on a journey. And there we're driving down the highway, and then all of a sudden we have to stop the car because we have another vehicle laying sideways in the car, and it's called fear. Now we can do one or two things at this point. We can succumb to fear, or we can look at that fear and ask yourself, where did that come from? Why is that in my way? Why is that in the road, right? This is the time that you can dig in deep, all right? This roadblock on your way to Las Vegas was not there to stop you necessarily. It popped up saying, this is a hindrance in your life. Please take care of this right now so you can continue your journey. Okay? So we're going to take that fear, especially on a good day, analyze it. Where in the world did it come from? We need to get it from our back of our brain up to our frontal cortex so we can connect logic to that emotion. Okay, we can analyze it, where it came from, why it's there. Okay, now we want to go into that full emotion of that fear at that moment in time that you're processing it, and then you can release it. It's a magic button. Then you can release it. It's done. You never have to deal with it again. That fear coming from that situation, when you pinpoint it down, you can logically look at it, logically process it. And I'm going to do a huge video on this and a blog. So there'll be so much more that I will be adding to this. It's just, I guess, giving you guys kind of a teaser where I'm going. With the planets and the chakras and being able to really master yourself and your emotions. But when you're an adult and you can logically process this emotion that comes up and totally feel it at that moment, it's time to release it. You can release it, let it go. I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. All right. That fear and that roadblock is gone, you guys. It's gone. And now you can continue your journey. So these roadblocks, what we consider hindrances, and we don't understand them, they're there for you to take care of. Okay? Do not get into this affirmation of positive thinking where that you drowned out what you're truly feeling. Nope, I'm not going to feel that. Nope, that's not a good thought. I'm just going to say this affirmation, I am strong, I'm secure, I am abundant. No, don't do that. Do not ignore the language to your soul, you guys. Look at that. Look at those feelings. Look at those emotions. Honor that. and go inside and figure out where in the world it came from. I guarantee you, you guys, any type of these feelings and emotions that you have that are negative, one, they're not your authentic self, but they're coming from your childhood, from the ages of 3 to 13. So when you set out for a goal, all right, be realistic about it. It's not some pie in the sky. Be real. What do you really want in this life? What is your purpose? And are you willing to remove those roadblocks as they come up on your way to the journey? If you dealt with that fear, then that roadblock and that car disappears, or you can move it off to the side and what have you, so you can continue your journey to Las Vegas. Okay, that's what you need to do every time. Don't suck into the fear and like, okay, I'm in fear now, I can't do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Continue your goal. Just deal with the roadblock. Be creative. You're an adult now. You have creativity and logic on your side. When you were 3, you didn't have logic on your side. You didn't know how to process. You could not say, my parents, are yelling and screaming at me, but it's not my fault. A 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, not even a 10-year-old. We take everything so personal at that age, like it's all our fault. It wasn't our fault. But now that we are adults, we can go back, tap into those emotions, and do it when you're on a good day. So they're not there when you're on your journey, right? Do it at any given point in time. Tap into some type of thought or belief or emotion that takes you back to your childhood, all right? Analyze it, embrace it, feel it, put logic to it. Always be logical about it. You don't want to go to monkey brain, all right, or a monkey mind mode. You want to be logical about it. Pull it in, feel it, and let it go. You may have to do this a lot, depending on your childhood, but it's worth it, you guys. And I'll probably need to end this because I got to upload this video into YouTube. Facebook, so that you guys have it today. But just wait for my blog. I'm still going to be doing a live with KK on Saturday. So I'm going to post that today. We'll figure it out. Maybe we could do it through KK's Facebook page. So we'll wait and see, but I will give you guys updates, but we will definitely be live, and that is 12 o'clock Eastern time. So please be there. I will post all the information for you guys. And again, I apologize for all the technical errors that we're having, but we just kind of work our way around it and keep moving forward. So again, it's a roadblock for me, but that's okay. I found a workaround, right? So anyways, you guys have a blessed Friday. Thank you for showing up, and I will see you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Bye-bye.